I did feel, and I made the call, I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. And I called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud! You!
What was the actual benefit of Cena selling his soul to The Rock?
I'm sorry, I cannot defend that.
This message goes out to The Rock. John Cena can ruin pro wrestling for everybody by being a heel. That doesn't need to come off in the most ridiculous, most underwhelming, most lame finish for WrestleMania that I've seen since WrestleMania 9.
We wanted to see Dwayne Johnson. We like Dwayne Johnson. We're upset that we didn't see Dwayne Johnson. So the fact that happened is getting it down.
WrestleMania 41 was a complete disaster. John Cena's heel turn has also been a failure, and there's one man responsible for this entire mess, and that man is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In today's video, we're going to break down how The Rock ruined WrestleMania 41 through manipulation, broken promises, and flat-out lies. This is the harsh truth about The Rock.
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table?
Before we get to the disaster that was WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, we need to rewind to January 1st, 2024. That was the night that The Rock returned and teased a WrestleMania 40 match with Roman Reigns, and honestly, that's where all the problems started. Up until then, Triple H had spent an entire year building a redemption arc for Cody Rhodes. It was all leading to one moment: Cody finally dethroning Roman Reigns and finishing his story. The WWE even booked Cody to win the Royal Rumble, and everything was falling into place until The Rock decided to insert himself into the mix. Dwayne essentially told Triple H and Cody to step aside, and they did. Cody Rhodes famously stepped down from challenging Roman, introducing The Rock as the new opponent instead. Behind the scenes, The Rock's camp wanted Cody to waste his Royal Rumble win on a match with Seth Rollins. This is a match that no one asked for or wanted to see. The fans wanted nothing but Cody versus Roman Reigns #2, period. But The Rock didn't care. That was until the fans made him care. The "We Want Cody" movement exploded, and the crowd would boo The Rock out of every building, and the backlash was so overwhelming that the WWE, they had no choice. The Rock turned heel, and a new feud with Cody Rhodes began, and I've gotta admit, it was incredible. The Rock was perfect as a villain. The segments were unforgettable, and that feud honestly saved WrestleMania 40. For the first time in a while, The Rock was back in the spotlight for all the right reasons. After a string of box office failures, he returned to WWE and started delivering gold. Cody would go on to finish a story with Roman, but a new one with The Rock had just begun, or so we thought. That's when the lies began. That's when things took a turn, and The Rock's relationship with the WWE started to fall apart all over again. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell match was originally set to main event Bad Blood, and the fans were hyped. This was the hottest storyline of the summer. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre put everything into this feud to get the fans invested, and it deserved to close out the show. But just like Cody Rhodes before them, their spotlight was stolen, and this time the fans weren't able to help, because The Rock came back and took the main event for himself. Using his backstage influence, The Rock reshaped the show. Suddenly, the main event was no longer the Hell in a Cell. It was the tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on the Bloodline. That match was very disappointing and forgettable. But then came the post-match segment. The Rock would make his return again, and this time it was to confront Cody Rhodes and maybe Roman Reigns, we don't know. And then he gave us a countdown, and the pay-per-view faded to black. Many fans gave this moment the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was building up to something bigger. Maybe The Rock had a long-term story in mind, and that was the only reason people were willing to accept the fact that he buried the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk match. But no, there was no plan. Reports later confirmed that The Rock's surprise return was never intended to lead to anything, and if you didn't believe those reports, just look at what happened when Raw made its debut on Netflix. The Rock opened the show and the fans were buzzing because surely this was it. He would challenge Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania, or maybe he'd officially announce his retirement match with Roman Reigns at that Mania. But none of that happened. Instead, he came out, he thanked Netflix, and then he dropped the final boss persona entirely, and it was just Dwayne Johnson talking about business deals. And just like that, the most compelling story the WWE had spent an entire year building, which was The Rock and Cody, was flushed down the drain. There was no payoff, we got nothing. This return meant nothing, and in the process, The Rock didn't just ruin Punk and Drew's Hell in a Cell main event, but he also derailed Cody's WrestleMania plans, which meant Triple H had to pivot again, and he needed to find a new opponent for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
My perspective is I've always done what's best for business. What is best for business is I main event WrestleMania, and what is best for business is for the first time I confidently say that I'm gonna win a 17th championship.
Something's weird about this.
Oh my God! He kicks him! What? Cena kicks Cody!
We got a John Cena heel turn finally!
Cena! Just let him talk about it.
Please! No! 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 What are you doing, John?
Look at those reactions. It's clear that John Cena's heel turn was a once-in-a-generation moment, but it was all ruined because The Rock forced Triple H to move it from the original plan of WrestleMania to the Chamber just so he could be a part of it. And his excuse was that WWE needed to sell more tickets for the Chamber pay-per-view, but the show was already 95% sold out by that point. At first, I didn't mind. A faction with John Cena and The Rock, now that could have changed WWE forever. But that's not what we got. Instead, it was just another ego trip for Dwayne. He wanted to attach himself to the biggest story, even though he never had plans to actually be a part of it. That's why John Cena and Cody never mentioned him, and that's why we didn't see him again. That's also why the build was so awkward, because John Cena was never supposed to turn heel yet. If The Rock was never going to stick around, then Cena's heel turn should have happened at WrestleMania. That moment belonged there. The Rock stripped us of what could have been the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time. To make things even worse, he didn't even show up at Mania. And when it all fell apart, he did what he always does, which is damage control. Meanwhile, Triple H was left trying to brace fans for the disaster that we got. The harsh truth is that we can't keep doing this. Something's gotta change because this is not working. The Rock ruined John Cena's heel turn. He ruined WrestleMania 41, and he's gonna keep ruining WWE's future unless he makes a choice. You're either 100% committed or you're out.
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table? The Rock's got your attention now, doesn't he? You pieces of People's elbow. Cody is screwed. He has done an amazing job. Cody Rhodes, thank you, brother.
Internet's not real life, right? And the and the complaining that is on it, it's not real life.
I don't want that. I want your soul. John Cena.
And I said, I think the final boss's work is done.